me ask you about race. You talked about how it was potentially with you and Mr. Cruz, it was the black guy and the brown guy. You are often asked this question, I know, and you're probably sick of talking about it, but let me ask you.
You asked me once before.
I have asked you myself, but others as well have asked you about the particular challenge of being a black Republican. You know, the House of Representatives now, Texas House now has 2 black Republicans, 6 Hispanic Republicans. That was not the case previously. Nonetheless, it is always assumed to be, correctly or not, that a black Republican would have an uphill battle in a statewide race. Ron Kirk believed that one of the reasons he had a problem in '02 was at least partly that the state was not yet willing to elect a black United States senator. Can you talk about that?
Let me start with that one, because I had a conversation with Ron, with the ambassador, Ron, about that. Texans didn't reject a black candidate for the United States Senate. Texans rejected a liberal Democrat. No Democrat won in that cycle. White Democrats did win in that cycle.
Right.
So Texans,
and in fact, he didn't do appreciably worse than the white Democrats.
Exactly. So Texans didn't reject a black senatorial candidate. I will tell you that while you're right, I get asked that question quite often, and I am struck at why I continue to get asked that question. Because I don't think anyone in this room cares what race I am. I think they care about their lives and what I, as a United States Senator, might be able to do to improve their life. They could care less. So I would also have to take some disagreement with the way the question was framed. I don't think it's a challenge to be black. Not in 2011.
You don't think it's a challenge to be a black Republican specifically in 2011?
Not in 2011.
So your intention is to run as a candidate who happens to be black as opposed to a black candidate?
I am, first of all, I happen to be black. That's the way it is. But I don't want to cast an aspersion on that, because I am proud of the fact that I'm black. God made me black. Who in the heck am I to take challenge with the fact that how God made me? Right. I am black, because that's the way he made me.
Well, let me go back to the race that you ran for county attorney in 1984 in Midland and ask you about that specifically. As I understand it, in 1984, when you ran for county attorney in Midland, you were a prosecutor in Midland at the time, and the campaign manager in your race for county attorney was one George W. Bush. You made a decision not to run, as I understand it, correct me if this is not true, you made a decision to run campaign posters that deliberately did not feature your likeness out of concern that a black candidate, even running in your hometown in Midland, would have an obstacle to get over. Is that true?
Let's correct it a little bit, but for the most part, you're correct. We ran a campaign early on where no one saw me, without a doubt. Nobody saw me. We ran a campaign about my background, but nobody saw the
Nobody saw you in person, and nobody saw your image on posters.
And it was a calamity. It was a great mistake. Right. We realized it sort of late in the campaign that it was a mistake. We probably would have lost anyway. Right. But it was a mistake. And that's why I feel so strongly today about the fact that I am who I am. Right. Can't change it. Yeah. And so there are no places in the state that you think being an African-American Republican in this primary would be an obstacle in any way? Evan, I've had, at least in 12 years as a railroad commissioner, in the time when I was the general counsel of the Republican Party of Texas, platform committee chairman of the convention, I've been all over the state. And I have to tell you that I'm extremely thrilled by the reception I get across this state. I have no qualms whatsoever in going to any part of this state and campaigning in this state.